Hello guys, welcome to today's videos. In last video we learned about the how we can create a REST API with the help of our database repository classes. Now we are learning about the how we can create a JWT auth token. With the help of the auth token we can use our stateless authentication of the user. So let's get started for the today's videos. First, if we want to add the JWT token in our any of the microservices or Spring Boot microservices, then we need to add some of the dependency here. So I am going to add the two dependency here, like the auth server and JWT, Java JWT here. Okay, so this part is done. So after that, for storing the user detail, we also need the user table. Okay, so for user I am going to create one of the package like entity. So entity is one of the package. There I will store all the my entity classes. So my first class will be like user. Okay, so I am going to create one of the class is called user. So user I will mark as a entity. So now my table name, so I am passing my table name as a user. First I need a ID for this, private, known, and ID. Other part we needed the what I need to store in the user table: username, password, and maybe the roles. Okay, so I am storing the private string username, private string password. And roles, what is the roles of this user? Okay, so this is the, so here I need to use the generated value, and a generated value I will use the strategy equal to, I think I will use the here auto. So this will be auto generate one of the new integer value, and I will mark this as a ID. After that, here what I can use, like I can use the column here. So column I can provide the name of my column in my databases. So this will be like my username will be my column name, and its nullable I am keeping it false, and it will be always unique. Okay, the password is for always. I am going to create again name will be like password. Here I will use nullable false here also. Okay, and in the user table actually I am going to create a token. So I think I also need a token here. So I am giving a private string token. So this will store the whatever the token I will generate, that is the JWT token. So in this column I am also marking as a name will be like token, and here I am keeping the length maybe maximum 1000. Okay, let's take it. So in case of roles, what I can use, roles can be null because I am not assigning anything here. So here name will be like only roles. That's it. After that I am going to create a getter and setter for this model. So getter and setter, and that's it. That part is done. So my user object is done. So after that I am going to create a user repository class, because I need to store the data in the table and also fetch the data in the table. Okay, so again I am going to repository class. Here what I am doing, I am going to Java class. I need one interface I need. Then I will create a name like user repository. In user repository I will extend with JPA repository here. I will pass user and my ID will be long. That's it. So my user repository is also created, so let me mark is this interface as a repository. Okay, so after that what I want to do it here, so anyway I need to use the card operation, so I'm not writing anything, this will be already handled by the user repository. Okay, so now I am going to create some of the services classes. So which service class I need? First I need the service class. I am going to create interface like user service. So in user service I need some of the method, like I need a get by user id. Okay, so get user by id. So in this case what I need to pass, anyway I need to pass the long id. And what will be my return type? Return type will be like optional. And here I will pass the user object, that's it. So let me import this one also. So I think that part is done, and I think D is also required. Let me correct the name. So after that I also need the get all the user detail. So maybe I can pass the user list, and I will name like method like get all user. Okay, I don't need to pass anything here. After that maybe we can use to update my user detail. Okay, so in this case again I will return, and my method name will be update user, I think. And here what I will do, I will pass the long id and user object whichever I want to store. Maybe I can create a new user, so user save user, and here I need to pass the that user object. Again maybe I want to delete the user, so in this case I don't want to return anything, right? And delete user. So now my repository interface is done. So this is our one of the main class also. So here I am going to create a auth service. Okay. So in case of auth service I think we need an interface here, so let me rename it class from the interface. And here what I need, I want to register the user, so I register user, and here I will pass the user and user, that's it. Let me import this one also. Okay, another method I need it here, like login. So maybe I want to return the string here, and login user, and what I will pass it here, I will pass it here like one of the DTO that I will accept from the user. So maybe here currently I'm passing like user and user detail. Okay, so now my this method is also done. So I am going to create a new class or service IMPL. So I am going to implement these two classes. So here what I will do, I will override method, and I don't think override method is required here. Implement and auth service. So when I will do this, then I need to implement the that two method. And here in the case of the user service, I think I also need to implement the user service, implement user service, and I need to okay. So now this part is done, and this I will mark as a service, and auth service implementation I will also mark as a service class. After that, I also need to implement the JWT token. So what I want to do it here, I also want to create one more folder, is called the security. In the security folder, I need some of the beans for the JWT token. So what I need to do, I will create some key store here. So let me create one of the classes here, like the JWT configuration. And I will mark this class as a configuration classes. That's it. And here I want to create some of the method that will generate a key store beans for me. So I need to key store, and here I don't want to pass anything. Okay, so in case of key store, what I need, so first I need to generate an object of key store. So I will get the instance, and here I will pass the like key store dot get default type. Okay, so here this is returning some of the handles, so that we need to handle it. Catch. What is the exception here? Exception is will like key store exception. So I'm writing the so now the error is went away. And after that I also need to read the key. So how I will read the, so I need the input stream. So input stream, I can use the input so I am starting the new thread here, selecting the current thread, get context class loader dot get resource stream, and here I need to give the path of the my key. I am passing this command, and I am using the key tool for generating the JKS key. So what is the password? I am using the password here, my name Himanshu Kumar. That's it. Organization I don't want to put, I don't want to put city and all, state and all. So this is the correct, so I'm typing yes. After that I'm passing the password, and here also password. So now you can see here I generated one of the file is called keystore.jks. So what I am going to do, I am creating one more folder that is called keys, and here I am going to store this file. I did the refactor, so this file is there. Anyway, this is encoded file. So with the help of this file, I also need to generate some public and private key. Okay, so anyway I need the path of this particular file. In application.yml file, I am going to add some of the configuration is like keys, and here I am passing the my path here like keystore.jks, all the password JWT string I am using it here, and the password. Okay, you can see how I am keeping it JWT string. You can see like here I am passing the JWT string. Okay, so now my this part setup is done, so I need to read that location. Okay, so I am going to the JWT configuration class, and here I am passing the private string and my key store path that I need it. So here what I need to pass the value annotations. In the value annotation I can use the path, so app security JWT and key store location. Why this error is not going, that we need to see. Okay, that part is done. So I am passing my path like here. Okay, so input stream part is done. After that I need to load. So key store, I am loading this file. So this is the input stream, and here I need to pass the password. Okay, so password I will get it. So I also need to create one more string, private string key store password. Okay, again I am copy this file, that part password I can read it from here in my application YML file and my key store password. Again I am going to here and I am updating this path as a key store password, and here I can pass like my key store password dot to array. This part is load, and I am doing the return of the key store. So here again we are seeing some error. So let me see what is the error right now. So this is unhandled exception, this is IO exception. So what I am doing, IO what is the another exception? Another exception will be like no such algorithm and certificate exception. Okay, no such algorithm exception, and the second one is the certificate exception. And I'm not doing anything here, so that part is done and dusted. If this is not returning properly, then I will throw a new exception. And exception will be like unable to load key store. That's it. Actually this is the illegal state exception, so that part is done. After this we also need key alias and private key passphrase. Okay, so again what I am doing, private string key passphrase. So for again I am copying this file, this path I am keeping it here. What other path we need? One is the key alias and one is the private key passphrase. So I am just doing the copy here, cut, paste, and here I am keeping the key alias, again cut and paste. I will go and remove this one. So now I have key alias. Okay, so again we need the two more being, one is the rs private key and second is the rs public key. Again let me mark this one method as a bean also, so I'm going to mark as a bean. The second method I need it like public RSA. First one is the I think private key. Let me go ahead with the private key. Signing key, let me name anything. So here I need to pass the key store and key store, that's it, because anyway I need to load the key. After that try catch exception is required. So first let me write the method. So what I will do, I will use the key, not key store. So from key store dot get key, here I need to pass the my key alias. What is the my key alias and private key passphrase dot to array. Okay, so this way I will get the key. So I am checking if my key is instance of RSA private key. Then I need to return, I will mark as this one and key. So here you can see we are also need to handle some of the exception, like one exception is a key store exception, no such algorithm exception and unrecover key exception. So let me mark all of the exception here. What is the unrecover? Enable key exception. Second one is the no such algorithm exception, and third one is the key store exception. And I'm not writing any error. Again let me mark this one as also B. The third one, otherwise I will return here the same, I think through new unable to load. Here I will write unable to create. I think load is good. Load RSA private key. Again I need to generate the public key. Okay, so public RSA public key. Why I will use? For validation I will use. Here I again need to pass the key store and so for this I think I also need to handle the exception. So what we need to find out? Here I need to find out the certificate. Key store dot get certificate, and here I will pass my alias as a key alias. Okay, after that I am going to create a public key equal to certificate dot get public key. Great. And if my public key instance of RSA public key, then I will return that public key. So return RSA public key and this one is a public. Okay. Catch exception is required. For which exception I need to handle? I need to handle key store exception. Key store exception, that's it. Otherwise I will return, no, I will throw here, throw. I think this part I can copy it, paste it, RSA public key. That part is done. I am also marking this method as a bean. Again, if you want to use the password, so again we need to decode the password here. So what I am doing with the help of the JWT decoder, okay, public, I need JWT decoder because I need to public key anyway I need to pass, okay, this part. So how I will return, so I am using the Nimbus JWT decoder dot with public key, and I will pass my public key here, that's it, and I will mark this one as a bin. So now my configuration class is done and dusted. I think this import is not required. Okay, my all the bin is created and done. So after that I need to create one of the helper classes for handling the configuration for the JWT. I am going to create one more class, JWT, I think helper. So in JWT helper classes, what I need to do, I will play with the private find RSA public key, public private key. This is again the private key. Again I am creating the final classes, so I need to go to create a constructor here. So constructor will be like that. Yeah. So here I am writing one of the function that will check my claims in the with the help of the calendar. Okay. This method will create a JWT. So I need to pass the subject and what we need, like I need to pass the key value pair, means what I am claiming it right now. So in this case I am initializing the calendar classes. I am getting the sequence. Instant dot now dot suppose milliseconds. I am assigning the current time. Calendar dot add. I am using the calendar dot date. After I need JWT creator dot, I think builder is required, so I will mark as a JWT builder. I'm going to create dot, I need subject, so subject I am passing, that's it, and claims dot for each, here will be like JWT builder, and with claims. Okay, so this will store all the JWT builder and what I am doing the claim here. After that I need to return the string here, so I am doing the return. Anyway, I need the JWT builder. I am using not before here, so new date, so expire I am passing it calendar dot get time. This will expire at this time dot time algo. Here I am using the RSA algorithm. RSA 256, and I need to pass public key and private key, comma private key, that's it. So here I am using the decoder of the algorithm RSA 256. I am passing the public and private key, whatever the public key have the user and whatever the public key I have, I am matching with these two, and I am generating the new token here. So again I am marking this class as a component, because anytime I need this object everywhere. Cut. So now I am going to create controller classes for the user service and the auth service. So first I am creating the auth controller. And the second one I am creating the user controller. So let's start with the user controller first. So I'm marking this one class as a REST controller. Anyway, again I need to use the private user service and user service. I'm going to create a constructor because I like to create a constructor auto add. That's it. Now I have the user service. Now I am going to save user. So public save user. What I will pass it here in request body. I will pass user, and what I will do it here, I will call the user service dot save user. I will pass that, and this will return. Okay. I also want to get user by ID. Okay. One thing I forget, I need to do the post mapping here. Post mapping with I think user. After that I will do the user get user by ID, I think. So what I need to pass it here, I will pass the long ID, and what I will need to do, return user service dot get user by ID. I will pass the ID. In get mapping I need to pass like user, and in path I will pass the ID. So here I am annotating path variable, I think, and in path variable I think this is the only one, so no need to mention here. So now my user controller is done. Why this is returning error? No error. Okay. Now I am going to the auth controller here, and in auth controller first I need to mark as a REST controller. So that part is done. After that I am initializing my auth service as usual. Auth service, that part is done. After that I am going to create a constructor with the auth service. I am marking this one as a auto add as usual. After that I need to log in from here. Okay. So I am passing the public, maybe return will be the string. I am logging. I am doing the request body because I need to pass the request body here, and I need to pass some of the body. So my body will be like, here will be, maybe I need to create one of the DTO classes. So first I am going to package, I am creating a DTO, and here what I am doing, I am creating one more classes, that login DTO. Okay. So login DTO will store what I need to pass. I need to pass the private string, I think username, and private string password. That's two things I need. So I am again going to create a getter and setter. for these two. That part, this is the class. So again I am going to this controller. I need to pass a login DTO. That's it. And here what I will do, in the auth service dot login user, I will pass the login DTO here. Okay, and I will return. Okay, so in case of this one, so I am going to this method. Okay, I need to pass the user login DTO, and I think here also login DTO. Okay, so where this method is implemented, so I am going to go to implementation. Implementation is not done. Great. So now I am going to my service classes, this implementation. After that login user, I am again doing the same thing, login detail. So this method is not implemented, I will do it later. First I am starting from the controller. That part, that is done. I also need to do the register here. I don't know what I'm saying. So first I need to do with the post mapping. Post mapping I need to pass as a login. Okay. The second method I am writing is public. Here I will return the user detail. And here I am register. What I need to pass, user and user here, and I will call the auth service dot registered user. I will pass the user here. That's it. So my controller part is done. Again I need to use the post mapping because I am doing the registration, and I will use here a register. So these two API is important in case of the JWT token, because first I need to allow this service to add one user, and after so this part is done, and after that I think I need to implement the user service. So I am going to implement the user service. Let's see what we are doing it here. So I am going to user service implementation, this class. So first I need to do the optional get user by ID. So what I will do it here in user service repository, what we need, private user service I think I need to go to the repository classes. Where is my repository classes? User repository. Here I am going to create a constructor, and in the constructor I am doing the auto error. That's it. Now I have user repository, so I am calling the get, and I will do the find by ID. I think find by ID, I will pass the ID here. That's it. This part is done. After that I need to use the get all user. So again I will use the user service repository dot find all. I think this part is done also. Update user. If I want to do the update user, so let's not do it right now because this is not related to right now. So I am doing to the save user. What I will do, I will again call the user repository dot save and user. Okay. Again I need to delete, so again I will call the user service repository dot delete by delete by id. I need to pass id here. Long id is required because this one. Again I am going to the this method. I am using the long and id. That's it. So now everything is done in the service side. Again I am going to the auth service. Let's also implement this one. So in case of auth service, I am going to the implementation classes of this one. And so here what we need? Here we need private user repository. Anyway I need it because I need to fill the detail, and I need the private JWT helper. I think I need it because I need to generate here the token with the in case of the login user. Okay. So again I am going and I am doing the constructor with all these two classes, doing auto air. Okay. So in case of login, what I need to do? Okay. So first I need to find out like what is the user, is available or not. User equal to user repository. So here will be like find or by, I think id we don't have, we have username. Okay, so there I will pass the whatever we are getting, login dto dot get username, but this method is not available. So what I am going to do, I am again going to the my repository classes and controller repository, user repository. I will write one new method. That method will return cut. So I need to implement this method. So I am going to the service. What I need user, and here I need the username. I will pass the string, and here I will pass username. So I think this will work. Okay. Again I am going to the my implementation service, that part. Okay. Now I can receive the data from here. After that I need to do the string claims. I need what I want to claim from the map. I also need to import the map here. Claims dot put. I want to pass username. Okay. And username, what I am going to pass? Whatever the user dot get username. Here I find out. Okay. And other detail. Okay, so I also want to store the claims dot put what is the id. So I am storing the id here as a user id. Okay, and here I am passing the user dot get id. That's it. The two things I want to store it here. So after that I am doing the string JWT equal to JWT helper dot create for claim, and here the user, no, I think user dot get username will be the subject, and whatever the value I want to store I can store it here, and user repository. Okay. So if I am returning this one, like I can simply return JWT. Okay. So in this case, so this I need to convert a string dot value of, I can pass the long or integer value here. That's it. Okay. Here I also need to update our OR token in my databases, because if I will one time return, then how I will validate it the later. Okay. So what I need to do for the user repository dot update token, I think I need this method, and what I need to pass, I need to pass in that detail, like one is the JWT token what I will got it. Another thing I need to pass the ID here, so user dot get ID, this is the enough. Okay. Two things I need. This is the update token method. Okay, so again I am going to the user repository class, and this is the void, this is the method, and this method will update the token in user table. Okay. So here my param will be token, I need it, and I need to pass a string token, and I also need to pass the ID. Param is ID and long ID. That's it. So here I am using the query annotations. So query annotations, what it will do, I am writing my query. I want to update user, and user I am taking as a u. I want to set dot token u dot token equal to what I want to pass. I want to pass token where u dot id equal to id. And this query will be transactional anyway I need, because if anything will fail, then we can simply revert it. And again I want to modify Why? Because clear automatically is true. So when this will be not successful, that time we can go ahead and delete the whatever the updated, we can simply delete it. Again still we have some error. Let me find out what is the error right now. Okay, so this will update and resolve. Actually my IntelliJ IDEA is slow. After that I am again going to the token, that part, and this is done. And if we want to use the register API, that time I also need to implement. Okay. What I am doing here, user dot save. I am simply storing the user and I am doing the return. So now my auth service is also implemented. Okay, so that part is done. So here up to till now we learned about how we can create a JWT, and all the path I set it here. With the help of the JWT helper, I am storing the data and generating the one of the key, and I am returning when I am doing the login. Okay. And we also need some URL that we need to allow it here. I don't think this is required right now. So I am going to run this application. So here I am using the port is 8080 and my service still building in process. So let me build the service first. I think here we also need to implement our web service configuration classes. So I am going to use web security. So let me go and create. Config, I am marking this class as a component. Okay, and I will extend this class as a web security configuration. I think configure adapter, this one. And what I am trying to do it here, like reflector rename, let me rename it like okay. So what we need to do it here, I need to override one of the method, that is the configure override method, and configure, I need HTTP security here. I'm going to override this method. Okay, I don't want to call the super method, so here what I want to do, http dot, I want to cause anywhere and CSRF I want to disable that part. Again I want to authorize my application, means I want to authorize request, that part. And here I want to configure, I am using here lambda expression like configure dot int matcher I want to use, and I want to use like if I will call the login and I will call the register, then I want to dot dot I want to permit all dot any request I want to permit and dot authenticated. Okay. And here I want to auto resources, to resource configure, and I will mark password JWT. So here what I am doing, I am allowing my application to open for the login and register, but not allow for the another API. Okay. So that part is done. I am restarting my application again. So my application is started and the name Himansu1, and see I got my password here, and this password is also decrypted, and I did not get the token till now. So anyway, I register and now I am going to log in. Okay, so when I am going to do the login here, so see I will get my token here. Okay guys, so that's it for today's videos, and best of luck. Thank you.